Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The sun hung low over the Los Angeles cityscape, casting a golden glow across the huge Forrester estate. Inside the mansion's vast living room, tension crackled like electricity in the air. Luna Nozawa stood in the middle of the room, her heart thumping against her ribs and her hands quivering slightly at her sides. She had just returned from the hospital, where she had spent the last few hours by Katie Logan's bedside. Katie collapsed in the Forrester Creations office, her face pallid, gripping her chest as she fought for breath. The events of the previous night replayed in her memory like a never-ending loop. Luna had been working late on designs when the incident occurred. Without hesitation, she dialed 911 and began performing CPR until paramedics arrived. Doctors eventually confirmed that Luna's quick thinking saved Katie's life. They reported a heart attack. Severe but caught on time. Luna returned to the Forrester mansion and confronted the devastation. Will and Bill Spencer stood in front of her, their emotions a mix of appreciation, skepticism, and unresolved wrath. The room was heavy with the weight of previous betrayals. Luna's mother, Poppy, had wreaked havoc in their lives, with Luna caught in the crossfire of accusations and misunderstandings. Bill, in particular, had been nasty, assuming Luna was conspiring against him. Will, Katie's son, had followed his father's lead and distanced himself from Luna, despite their previous closeness. "Luna," Bill began, his voice rough but softer than normal. "The physicians explained what you did. You saved Katie's life." Luna swallowed hard and met Bill's gaze. "We owe you for that." His eyes, which were normally hard and unyielding, showed a spark of something softer, gratitude, perhaps, but also struggle. "I didn't do it for thanks," Luna answered gently. "I did it because it was the correct thing to do. Katie did not deserve to die." Will shuffled uncomfortably, arms crossed over his chest. He was younger than Bill, and his emotions were raw and unprotected. "Yeah, well, you did save her," he said, his tone sharp. "But that won't erase everything else, Luna. You can't expect us to forget what happened because of one good deed," Luna said, her chest tightening. She had expected it. The Spencers were a proud family, quick to pass judgment and slow to forgive. "I'm not asking you to forget," she murmured calmly, despite the lump in her throat. "I'm asking for a chance to show that I'm not my mother's faults. I'm not Poppy." Bill's jaw clenched, and he turned away, peering out the floor-to-ceiling windows onto the manicured gardens beyond. The mention of Poppy awakened old wounds. Poppy's lies, manipulations, and the paternity scandal that rocked Bill's world all left profound scars. Luna, caught in the center, was painted with the same brush. But tonight, something had changed. Katie was alive because of Luna and Bill, and Will couldn't disregard that debt. "Sit down, Luna," Bill murmured finally, nodding toward the soft sofa. "We need to talk." Luna hesitated, then sat down on the edge of the cushion. Will remained upright, moving slightly, his restlessness palpable. The room fell silent for a minute, except for the distant hum of the city outside. Luna's thoughts raced. She had gone to Los Angeles to find her place, to start a life with the Forrestos and Logans, but each step forward appeared to be followed by 2 steps back. Saving Katie had been an instinctive decision, not a deliberate one, but she knew it would change everything. The question was whether it would be sufficient. Bill interrupted the stillness. "Katie is now steady. The doctors believe she'll require rest and possibly surgery in the future, but she'll pull through. And it's all because of you." He paused, stroking his palm across his jaw. "Luna, I've been rough on you. Perhaps too hard. I saw Poppy in you, and it clouded my judgment. But tonight, you showed up when it mattered." Luna's eyes sting from unshed tears, but she blinks them back. "I just want to be a part of this family," she explained softly. "Not as Poppy's daughter, but as me." "Luna." Will paused his pacing and stared at her, his expression softening for the first time. "You know, when Mom collapsed, I was at work. I saw you there, Luna. You did not hesitate. You did not freeze. You just acted. I don't know many individuals who would have done it. Luna returned his stare, recognizing the tension in his eyes. Will had been her buddy once, perhaps more, before the truth about Poppy's machinations was revealed. Their bond was genuine, but trust had been shattered. I care about Katie, Luna added. I care about you, Will. I know it's difficult to believe, but I never intended to injure anyone. Bill watched the interaction, his mind whirling. He was a man who valued loyalty above all else, and Luna's actions had demonstrated it in a way that words could not. But forgiving was not his strong suit. He had spent years erecting barriers around his emotions, shielding himself and his family from treachery. Luna, with her wide eyes and genuine pleas, demonstrated how readily such walls may be breached. Let's take this one step at a time, Bill remarked with a controlled tone. You saved Katie's life, which means something. Developing trust takes time. Do you comprehend that? Luna nodded, her heart heavy yet hopeful. I do. I am not going away, Bill. Will exhaled, running a hand through his hair. I'll prove myself every day, not just one night. Mom's gonna want to see you when she wakes up, he told me. She asked about you in the ambulance, you know. I kept saying your name. Luna's breath caught. Katie had considered her even at her most vulnerable moments. It was more than she had hoped for. I'll be there, she replied confidently. Whatever she needs. The topic then went to practical things, such as Katie's recuperation, hospital visits, and care logistics. But there was something more going on beneath the surface. Bill and Will were dealing with their own feelings, caught between appreciation and the need to protect their family. Luna, for her part, was desperate to prove she belonged. As the evening progressed, the three of them sat together, the tension gradually diminishing with each passing minute. Bill told stories about Katie's fortitude and tenacity across years of pain and victory. Will expressed his worry of losing his mother, his voice shaking as he talked. Luna listened, providing silent comfort, her presence a constant anchor in the storm. When Luna finally exited the mansion, the night air felt cold on her skin. She stood on the driveway, staring back at the glowing windows, and felt a glimmer of optimism. Saving Katie had been a watershed moment, but it was merely the beginning. Forgiveness was a long path, but she was willing to walk it. The next morning, Luna arrived at the hospital, her nerves jangling as she walked to Katie's room. The clinical smell of antiseptic permeated the air, and the beeps of monitors resonated down the hallway. Katie was awake, pushed up in bed, with a pale face and bright eyes. Will was already there, sitting by her side, while Bill stood near the window, arms crossed. Luna, Katie replied softly, a smile growing over her lips. Come here. Luna approached the bed, her heart pounding. Katie, I'm glad you're all right. Thank you, Katie responded, grabbing for Luna's hand. Her grip was feeble, yet warm. Well, told me what you did. You saved my life, Luna. I'm not sure how to thank you. You don't have to, Luna murmured, softly stroking her hand. I'm just glad you're here. Bill cleared his throat and moved closer. Katie, Luna has been a hero. But I think we all realize there's a lot to digest here. Katie's gaze shifted between Bill and Luna, sensing an undercurrent. Bill, whatever occurred before, Luna has proven herself. Will nodded, but his expression remained guarded. Yes, Mom. She has. Luna felt a warm sensation creep across her chest. Katie's words had weight, and in the Logan Forrester Spencer universe, it meant everything. But she knew Bill and Will weren't completely on board yet. Their forgiveness would be slow, if at all. Luna quickly established herself as a regular in the hospital. She brought Katie's favorite magazines, sat with her during long days, and even helped coordinate with the Forrester team to keep Katie's workload manageable. Will noted her determination and, while he didn't say anything, his demeanor softened. He began to linger after visits, accompanying Luna to her car and engaging in small talk that sounded almost nostalgic. One evening, as they stood in the hospital parking lot, Will finally said what was on his mind. Luna, I have been a jerk to you. I allowed my father's rage, and my own pain get in the way. But seeing you with Mom, I see you. Luna's heartbeat quickened. Will, I can't blame you for being cautious. I simply want a chance to start anew. He nodded, a little smile forming on his lips. Perhaps we can. Friends? Friends, Luna agreed, her smile matching his. However, Bill proved to be a more difficult nut to crack. He saw Luna's interactions with Katie and Will, his head conflicting with his instincts. He'd been burnt before, so letting Luna in felt risky. But Katie's recovery served as a daily reminder of what Luna had done. One afternoon, he discovered Luna in the hospital cafeteria, drinking a coffee. Do you mind if I join you? Bill inquired, his tone rough but not cruel. Luna looked up in amazement. Of course. They sat quietly for a bit, the murmur of the cafeteria filling the air. Finally, Bill spoke. Luna, I have spent my entire life reading people. It's how I've survived in business, love, and life in general. And I misread you. I saw Poppy's shadow and imagined the worst. Luna's heart was racing, but she remained cool. I am not perfect, Bill. I have made mistakes. But I'm striving to improve. For me, for this family. Bill's eyes searched her. Katie believes in you. Will is starting to. I'm getting there. You saved her life, Luna. That's not something I can ignore. Luna nodded, her throat tightening. I'm not expecting you to ignore the past, Bill. I just want to build something new. He leaned back, a tiny smile on his face. You have guts, child. I'll give you that. Weeks passed, and Katie's rehabilitation continued. She was moved from the ICU to a regular room, and eventually she was allowed to go home. Luna was with Katie every step of the way, a constant in her healing. The Forrester and Logan families rallied around her, but Luna's quiet strength shone through. The mansion was alive with laughter and joy as families gathered to celebrate Katie's arrival. Ridge, Brooke, Eric, and the rest of the clan filled the room, their voices blending together in a joyful cacophony. Luna sat by Katie, assisting her with minor duties, her smile sincere but laced with caution. She realized it was a test, an opportunity to prove she belonged. Bill raised his glass, his voice overpowering the discussion. To Katie, for her strength. As to Luna for returning our Katie. The gathering erupted in shouts, as Luna's eyes welled up with tears. Will met her eyes across the table, his smile warm and welcoming. Luna felt like she was finally a part of the family. Later, when the guests were mingling, Bill called Luna away. You've earned your place here, he stated gently. I was mistaken about you, Luna. And I don't say that very often. Luna's breath caught. Thank you, Bill. That means everything. Will joined them, his arm brushing Luna's. Told you he'd come around, he taunted, his tone light. Luna smiled, her voice bright and free. I wasn't so sure. As the night progressed, Luna stood on the terrace, gazing out at the city lights. She had saved Katie's life, but she had also rescued something else, her place in this confusing, wonderful family. Forgiveness had arrived, not all at once, but gradually, gained through deed and time. Will and Bill had opened their hearts, and Luna knew she would face whatever problems lie ahead as a Forrester, Logan, or Spencer. Luna Nozawa had traveled a long distance, but had arrived at her destination. The days following Katie's homecoming were frenzy of activity. Luna immersed herself into her work as designs for the upcoming collection took shape at Forrester Creations, which was buzzing with enthusiasm. Her sketches were bright, inventive, and clearly her own. Hope, who had always been Luna's mentor, observed a difference in her confidence. You're glowing, Luna, Hope commented one afternoon in the design room. What's the difference? Luna grinned as her fingers traced the lines of a garment on her sketchpad. Hope, I feel like I belong. I feel like I've finally found my place, Hope said, her eyes softening. You saved Katie's life. That is not merely a footnote, Luna. It's a legacy. Luna nodded, but her thoughts were on the future. She wanted to build on this experience and create something permanent. Her creations began to mirror her journey, displaying strength, perseverance, and a hint of vulnerability. The Forrester staff took notice, and even Eric, the patriarch, approached her one day to compliment her performance. "You've got something special, Luna," Eric replied with a warm voice. "Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Meanwhile, Will and Luna's bond grew. They spent their evenings discussing everything and nothing, music, dreams, and the craziness of their homes. There was a spark, unspoken yet evident. Will was hesitant, still reeling from the betrayal of Poppy's falsehoods, but Luna's patience and truthfulness were piercing his defenses. After a long day at work, Will discovered Luna on the rooftop of Forrester Creations, sketching under the stars. "You're always working," he said, sitting next to her. Luna laughed softly. "That's how I process stuff. Drawing, creating, it's how I make sense of the world." Will looked at her, thoughtfully. "You know, I used to believe you were just caught up in your mother's drama. But you're so much more than that, Luna." Her heart flutters. "And you are more than Bill Spencer's kid, Will. You're you." They sat quietly, the city sprawling below them. For the first time, the future seemed wide and full of possibility. Bill, too, was adjusting in his own way. He invited Luna to a Spencer Publications meeting, which was a powerful gesture. As they talked about media strategy, Bill nodded in agreement. "You've got a head for this," he said later. "Have you ever considered spreading out outside fashion?" Luna was floored. I don't know." Bill smirked. "Fashion is my passion, but I am open to anything. That is the spirit. Keep surprising me, Luna." Months later, Katie was back to her lively self, leading Forrester Creations with her trademark mix of heart and energy. Luna's designs were included in the spring collection, and they received wonderful reviews. The family had totally welcomed her, and Steffi, who had previously been apprehensive, was now an ardent supporter. At the new collection's presentation gala, Luna wore a gown she designed herself, the fabric sparkling under the chandeliers. Will approached, his eyes full of admiration. "You look incredible," he murmured softly. Luna flushed. "It's just a dress." "No," he replied, grasping her hand. "It's you." Bill smiled proudly as he watched from across the room. He lifted a glass to Luna, silently acknowledging her trip. She had saved Katie's life, certainly, but she had also rescued herself by carving out a place for herself in a world that had earlier appeared determined to exclude her. Luna felt at ease as the music grew louder and more people danced. She had endured doubt, fury, and pain, but she had come out stronger. Will and Bill had forgiven her, not because they had to, but because she deserved it. Luna Nozawa has found her eternal home deep within the Forrester Logan Spencer dynasty. The emotional terrain in Los Angeles has rarely been straightforward, but recent days have seen an unexpected mix of dread, atonement, and family reckoning that few could have foreseen. Following a horrific medical catastrophe, Luna finds herself at the heart of both appreciation and forgiveness, two things she never expected from Bill Spencer or his son, Will. Katie, who has long been a beloved character in their lives, is alive today because to Luna's quick thinking. Now that the threat has passed, new doubts arise. Is this the time Luna finally fixes the weak bridges she previously believed had been irreparably burned? And how does this affect her future position in the Spencer orbit? Luna's decision to enter the chaos of Katie's medical crisis was not intended to be a heroic deed. It happened so quickly. One minute, everyone was enjoying a normal day, and the next, fear crept in as Katie slumped, her breathing short and her pulse nearly non-existent. People cried for help, some froze in disbelief, and others scrambled in terror, but Luna remained focused solely on Katie. She assessed the situation and began CPR, refusing to be paralyzed by fear. She had no medical experience beyond basic first aid classes, but her instincts took over, prompting her to act when it counted the most. As emergency responders arrived and took over, they observed that Luna's efforts had most likely made the difference between life and death. Luna was startled, but yet genuinely relieved, after hearing those words. For weeks, she'd been filled with regret, humiliation, and perplexity over how her actions had affected the Spencer family, especially after the unintentional drugging episode that had turned into a painful and messy disaster. She said she never intended to cause harm, but intentions do not erase outcomes. Bill was outraged, Will was appalled, and Luna had recoiled into herself, believing she would never recover from the aftermath. But none of that mattered in the moment she rescued Katie. There was just instinct, and it was to defend someone who severely needed assistance. And now, as Katie stabilized in the hospital, something significant began to shift, especially in Bill, who had already been dealing with contradictory feelings. Bill Spencer is not a man who easily forgives. He is quick to anger, quick to pass judgment, and fiercely protective of those he cares about. But he is also a man who can spot true loyalty and bravery when he sees it. Watching Luna battle for Katie's life sparked something deep within him. If Luna had been truly dangerous, irresponsible, and self-centered, she would not have stepped forward without hesitation. She would not have risked failure, or blame, by taking control of such a delicate situation. By the time the physicians certified Katie's full recovery, Bill was glancing at Luna with something approximating respect, rather than mistrust or scorn. It was an abrupt emotional transformation. He wasn't ready to pronounce everything cured, but he couldn't ignore the truth. If Luna hadn't been present, Katie might not have survived. Will, too, was dealing with his own personal anguish. Unlike his father, Will is still youthful and idealistic, functioning within a clearer moral framework that distinguishes between right and wrong, heroism and betrayal. When the drugging episode came to light, he felt deceived and disgusted. He had liked Luna's sweetness and delicate disposition, but seeing her entangled in something so terrible shattered that image. But now he'd seen her do something incredibly selfless. He'd witnessed her battle for his mother's life. It twisted the story he'd been telling himself, one in which Luna was someone he had to protect himself against.